Greetings, this is Bradford Donald Keller Townsend, and this is a forward research report. This report is on the Council on Foreign Relations. I've been following the Council on Foreign Relations for quite some time, and I've had friends and family in senior positions with the Council on Foreign Relations. And what I have found, if you look at their website or you subscribe to Foreign Affairs magazine, whatever is seems to be at the top of their agenda, then percolates out to all the mass media and seems to be the focus of a lot of the activity uh, within the U.S., British, French, and other um, allied um, developed countries. Uh, they are clear now, the Council on Foreign Relations, that unskilled immigration from the developing world and emerging markets to the developed world um, is not working out. Um, they've had that information probably since the 1960s and 70s that unskilled immigration reduces the quality of life of the receiving country, nation, state. Uh, J.W. Forrester, the MIT Systems Dynamics, when he was doing his initial research in urban dynamics, found that even if people of the same race, ethnic group, religion, um, and that you get along well with, just move to your city, let's say Boston, San Francisco, hurts your city as the infrastructure does not grow um, fast enough to accommodate the extra cars, the extra children in the schools, more people wanting to go to the library, more people and check out books or movies or access computers. Um, it just lowers the overall quality of life, makes the lines everywhere longer, takes longer to get from point A to point B, your destination, in a vehicle. It's more dangerous to ride a bicycle because there's more vehicles. Um, and then if you uh, make it even a more severe problem by bringing in people that are less educated who don't speak the language. They won't be able to read the traffic signs. They'll be in your children's classroom if you can't afford a private school, asking for help frequently from the teacher. And if the class was already at maximum capacity, even adding two or three non-native speakers, whatever the language, Japanese, German, English, uh, hurts the other 20 something students in the room because they could maybe use help and attention from the teacher, and maybe half of the time of the teacher is spent with three of the troublesome immigrant children. Even if they're well behaved, they just don't speak the English as the language. Simple instructions on how to get to the restroom, or where the boundaries are at recess and that type of thing. That just monopolizes the teacher's time and hurts the children whose parents are paying the taxes. Usually they're a big financial burden on the municipalities that have to provide health care and education and housing and clothing and everything. And most even developed countries still have their own homeless people, poor, uh, people with mental illnesses, people with substance abuse addictions, low intelligent people that that they could be taking better care of and doing more for. And then they don't create more resources. So the resources that go to help these new low intelligent, low skilled immigrants end up just coming out of the uh, pool of resources that was going to go to the struggling natives. So there's really no benefit except to the maybe the bourgeoisie that are living in gated communities, that belong to the, one or more of the upscale country clubs have private security and private school for their children and so on and so forth. So they have their own microcosm bubble that they're in, and for them, maybe these unskilled, uneducated migrants, since the working class and the middle class are paying most of the taxes to support them and taking the burden, then they maybe have can hire a gardener or an extra gardener or landscaper that work part-time for them that they couldn't afford before because of lower wages, or another housekeeper to help with the chores around the house, the cooking and the laundry and the vacuuming and dusting and all that type of thing. But as far as, unless you're in the bourgeoisie top 1%, if even the developed countries are top 3%, you're probably not going to benefit from other than having some servants, and even then it might not be worth it. So even if you have a more educated and more affluent, skilled population was to move in to your area, then that's more competition for your child to be a doctor, an engineer, an architect. Now you're having all these skilled people. There aren't necessarily going to be a really big demand in architects, but now you have more talented, skilled people coming in wanting to compete for architect jobs. So it's generally better to build a city and then have a stable population that neither grows much or shrinks, and you can, over decades, it might take you 50 years to build all the infrastructure, the athletic stadiums, the bicycle paths, the jogging paths, the parks, making sure that you have enough width of roads to accommodate all the motorcycles, bicycles, trucks that are essential to get the food and everything that people need around. The CFR also, they're acknowledging that and are recommending stricter immigration, and if they are having immigration, what they want them to do is to compete against the middle class. So the software engineers, the doctors, the lawyers, if you let in skilled immigration, CFR is also focusing on Latin America and Saudi Arabia right now. There's elections in Central and South America, and after being distracted for years with the Middle East trying to secure high energy return on energy investment oil reserves, they're now looking back again at the traditional Monroe Doctrine, Central America, Caribbean, and South America, and are making pushes there. And China has been sending in reconnaissance patrols diplomatically and business, so to speak, and made some headway in South America, and becoming more of a rival to the traditional Spanish-American interest there. So you'll see when they post things on their website and it comes out in their magazine, there's usually a very short lag time before all the media and you can see the pieces on the chessboard begin to move. Some of their agenda is confidential, and they don't say what they're doing, but a lot of it they aren't afraid to show what their strategies are, put out the books, and put it all out there. That's all I have on the Council on Foreign Relations. I'll be checking in from time to time on their website and on their magazine to see what they're up to. Thank you very much, and have a great day.